Hello, this is Max. Today's story is about a group of people who got stuck in a time loop. You can subscribe to the channel after watching. It helps us a lot in realizing the content. A woman's desperate cries for help in an abandoned mine proved to be a chilling dream. Lila wakes up in their van, relieved it was just a bad dream, while Michael checks on her. They're with friends, buying food as Michael poses as the gas man. Lila inquires about his medication. Then their friends remain unaware of a newspaper report of a girl's death. Elsewhere, Rose encounters a native farmer and buys corn, sharing her destination as a nearby forest cabin. He warns her of wolves. Having grown up in the area, the group enjoys a picnic before their journey resumes. Personal dynamics emerge. Claire's unease about Lex, who's DJ's cousin, due to his recent family tragedy. Lex asks Guy to stop focusing on his phone, as he's dealing with job interviews. Night falls, and while driving, they nearly hit a man, only to have him vanish mysteriously. The group's car breaks down, and with the cabin just a couple of miles away, they continue on foot. Lila reminds Michael about his medication. The northern lights catch their attention, and they spot a cabin with lights on. TJ and Rose explore it, triggering a prank, before realizing they're at the correct cabin owned by Matt and Sarah. The group enters, impressed by the interior, until the power goes out. Michael and TJ go to check the generator. Later, the group gathers for a party, but unease grows when Guy claims someone is outside. No one is found, and it's attributed to a fallen pine cone. Michael returns from refueling the generator, appearing disturbed. Lila notices blood on his face, which he brushes off as a minor fall. The group continues partying, while Michael's dreams hint at dark visions involving his friends. He awakens next to Lila, and they become converging. The following day, Rose questions Michael about his nocturnal activities, but he denies going outside. The group convenes for breakfast, during which Lex makes suggestive comments about Lila, sparking Michael's anger. He steps away and recalls the absent friends Matt and Sarah. DJ enters, urging everyone to witness something important. Armed with flashlights, the group ventures into the woods. Lila reminds Michael about his medication, but he assures her he's taking it regularly. Lex offers Rose something to get high on. They reach an abandoned mine with a blood-written message. Break the cycle, which doesn't deter them from entering. Inside, Rose spots an Ouroboros symbol, though the group dismisses it. Deeper in the mine, Rose and Lex separate from the group. The others find a damaged bridge, sensing an eerie atmosphere, and decide to leave. They search for Lex and Rose, discovering a protective chamber. Inside, Michael reads the words "This is the first time" on the wall. Guy and TJ prank Michael by trapping him inside, with Lila arriving to find them stuck. Elsewhere, Rose and Lex navigate their way back. Rose senses a presence behind them. Eventually, the group frees Michael. His anger flares as he pushes TJ, who apologizes. Rose returns, revealing blood on the floor and a mysterious grab. Her scream reunites her with the others. Lex explains his prank gone awry, while Guy reveals Rose's claim and Lex's admission of providing mushrooms. The group splits, with disappointed boys leaving. The girls convene, where Rose discloses her injury from the grab. However, her perspective is unique. As Lila and her boyfriend head towards the van for his medication, TJ confides in Lex about Michael's distress in the mine. Lex explains that it's likely due to Michael's schizophrenia and his failure to take his meds the previous night. During their walk to the van, Michael unexpectedly asks Lila if their friends could pose a threat to him. Despite the oddity of the question, Lila assures him they wouldn't. Arriving at the van, they discover the door open. Attempts to start the engine reveal it's irreparable. Lila spots blood on the van's fender, assuming they might have hit an animal. She advises Michael to keep this revelation between them, as the others are already shocked at the cabin. Returning to the group, they break the news about the van's state. Rose suggests an immediate departure, but TJ insists on waiting for Sarah and Matt's return. Claire proposes a lake visit to kick off their activities, but Lex suggests revisiting the mine where he lost his wallet. While Lex and TJ explore the mine, Lila joins Claire by the lake in her bikini. However, Rose interrupts them, displaying an Ouroboros symbol from a book. She explains its representation of the unending cycle of death and rebirth. Feeling uneasy, Rose retreats for fresh air. Outside, she envisions Michael choking Guy and witnesses a bloody image of Guy approaching her. Back inside the cabin, she screams, seeing a bloody handprint on the glass door, though the others don't perceive it. They attempt to soothe Rose, with Guy attributing her experience to a bad trip. Rose confesses that she used to be a psychic, but usually doesn't feel fear from them. Regardless, she reassures them and encourages them to go swimming. Guy refuses to leave her side, prompting Michael to suggest that everyone else head to the lake while he remains with Rose. Soon after, Michael tends to Rose, who becomes frightened by his appearance, covered in dirt and blood. At the mine, TJ and Lex make a grim discovery, a body in a cart bearing the same tattoo as Lex. Unveiling it, Lex confronts his own lifeless form. Another body is found, that of TJ. Deepening their horror, they stumble upon Guy's corpse, compelling them to hastily depart. Back at the cabin, the group returns, and Lex and TJ are reluctantly share their harrowing experience of encountering their own deceased bodies and Guy's lifeless form. Guy, angered by their unsettling revelations, insists they accompany him to the mine to demonstrate that it's all a hallucination. The rest, aside from Lila, who cares for Rose, follow suit. In the cabin, Rose witnesses a vision of Michael disposing of a body. She abruptly awakens, cautioning Lila about revisiting the mine due to it not being their reality. Elsewhere, Guy and Claire verify the validity of TJ and Lex's claims. Later that evening, Rose screams upon seeing Lila's deteriorating face. While trying to escape, she falls and loses consciousness. Upon their return, Rose urges the group to break the cycle, prompting Guy to soothe her and lay her to rest. Subsequent discussions revolve around their predicament, including the unsettling possibility of being deceased. Lex suggests their demise occurred during the car incident, though Guy dismisses the notion, leading to a near altercation that's averted by the others. Lex explains to TJ that they're grappling with supernatural forces, prompting a decision to revisit the mine to decipher the means of breaking the cycle. Meanwhile, Michael's unease drives him to prepare poison tea, contemplating its consumption. A red crayon catches his attention on the bedside table. Elsewhere, armed with weapons, Lex and TJ venture back into the mine. At that moment, the sound of a girl weeping emanates from a locked room. Inside, they find Claire, murmuring Michael's name. TJ suggests bringing Claire along, but Lex intervenes, asserting that the real Claire is in the cabin. In the cabin, Michael battles internal voices, warning him of impending betrayal by his friends. Meanwhile, Rose regains consciousness and witnesses disturbing visions of decayed faces belonging to Lila and Claire. She utters the phrase "Stop Michael" before losing consciousness once more. Simultaneously, Michael lowers a rope from his window. Downstairs, TJ returns and affectionately embraces Claire, expressing concern. As she inquires about their findings in the mine, Lex arrives and suggests discussing it with the entire group. All assemble in the kitchen except for Michael and Rose. Lex and TJ divulge their encounter with another Claire in the mine, who warned them about Michael. In response, TJ and Lex locate Michael in his room. He confirms it's time upon seeing the rope. When questioned, he remains cryptic. They tie his hands and take him downstairs to extract a confession, which he resists. Despite Lila's objections, the group decides to confine Michael in the mine. The boys lead him there, and before entering, Michael cryptically enters the second time. Once he's locked in a room, they return to the cabin. At the cabin, Rose suddenly appears, warning them of Michael's escape before collapsing. Unbeknownst to them, Michael has indeed fled. He arrives at the mine's bridge, finding it unbroken as before. Not long after, TJ, Lex, and Claire head to the mine to check on Michael's confinement. Guy urges Lila to catch up with the others, but she refuses to leave Rose alone. Unseen by them, Rose experiences convulsions upstairs, resulting in her demise. Inside the mine, the trio discovers an unlocked door. Michael unveils himself and a chase ensues. They reach the bridge, where Michael cautiously navigates around the deteriorated sections. However, Lex confidently strides across it, plummeting to his demise. Shaken by witnessing Rose's fatal end, Guy and Lila opt to prioritize their own survival, assuming the worst for the others. Leaving a nonchalant note on the counter, they fear the others may return, mistaking their departure as abandonment. Meanwhile, Michael cautiously maneuvers above TJ and Claire, observing their search. Unexpectedly, he pushes a cart, which crushes TJ, ending his life. Alone now, Claire navigates the mine aimlessly. Eventually, she enters a room where Michael materializes, sealing her within. Elsewhere, Guy and Lila walk along a road. Spotting an approaching van, Guy instructs Lila to remain on the roadside while he attempts to signal for help. The van veers to avoid him but strikes Lila instead. Rushing to her, Guy recognizes the occupants as themselves from the initial night, leading him to believe it's his duty to break the cycle. Apologizing, he leaves Lila behind. Within the mine, Michael conceals Lex and TJ's bodies, placing them in the room where he was previously confined. He inscribes this as the first time on the wall. Subsequently, he returns to the cabin, depositing the red crayon he used in his bedside drawer. Venturing into a bedroom, he encounters Rose's lifeless form. Suddenly, a voice calls from downstairs. DJ and Rose, clothed as they were on their first night at the cabin. Michael swiftly wraps the other Rose's body in a blanket and tosses it downstairs. TJ and Rose discover the note left by Guy and Lila, mistaking it for communication from Matt and Sarah. Meanwhile, Guy pauses at the abandoned van of the new cycle to quench his thirst. Neglecting to close the door, he proceeds to the cabin. Within the mine, Claire witnesses another iteration of herself crawling towards her. Eventually, Guy arrives at the cabin, futilely pounding on the door. Michael subdues Guy, ending his life with a throat-slitting action. Concurrently, the new cycles group embarks on their investigative excursion, mirroring the previous iteration. Michael leaves Guy at the mine entrance, where Guy, in his dying moments, employs his own blood to break the cycle. Meanwhile, Michael revisits the cabin to confront his past self, emphasizing that all will betray him except Lila. He warns that during his second confinement in the mine, his survival is jeopardized. Handing his past self a key, he instructs him to defend himself. Following this, he hides Guy's body in the mine, leaving his past self puzzled. Later, the new cycles Michael returns to the cabin, initiating a sequence of events mirroring their initial occurrence. When the group retires for the night, he steps outside, unaware that Rose observes him. He encounters his other self, who compels him to incinerate his antipsychotic medication. Back in the mine, Claire remains trapped, frantically calling for Michael's intervention. Subsequently, a fresh cycle begins, and the group congregates at the gas station. At this juncture, Lila reveals herself to her counterpart, having survived the van accident. Her survival offers a chance to finally terminate the recurring cycle. If you are interested in such films, please proceed to the next video on the screen, and also share your thoughts about this film in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. Goodbye.